What's up? My name is Glueboy, welcome back to the channel, and this is a video that's kind of been a little overdue. On one part, because I thought I talked about him before. I'll be honest, I thought I made a video on this guy before, guess not. Other reason, Baldur's Gate 3 came out. That's all I've been doing. Anyways, we're not going to spend too much time. We're going to be talking about Angron, a really popular Primarch, and honestly, a really fun one. On one hand, he's real basic, like corn stuff. He's a big old demon with big old wings and a big ass weapon, and he murders people. Not much more complicated. However, underneath this big red demon surface, there's the core of a very depressing story. A story I really like, and a lot of other people do. So let's just talk about it. So, like all the Primarchs, Angron got shot out into space and he landed on the little-known planet of Nuceria, a planet that was real bad, real shitty, the absolute start of a train wreck of a life. Nuceria sucked. It was a planet ruled by, like, big old tyrants who ran slave coliseums, just for funsies, had a very, very large slave population. A lot of times used for the richest entertainment. And this is where Angron crash landed. Some slavers went out to go investigate the fucking space pod that landed in their mountains and found a pod, a child, and a fuck ton of dead elves. So what we can glean, it seems like the Eldar might have had a vision of the horrific fucking future of Angron, what horrible, horrible things he would do, and decided to pull a little baby Hitler, like, time travel conundrum and kill him before he became a problem. And this child Primarch kicked our ass. And this is like an age-old adage. If you punch yourself and it hurts, are you weak or are you strong? If you're an Eldar warrior, thousands-year-old, and a child kicks your ass, but like a child Primarch, is a child real strong or are you real shit? Who knows? But the slaver immediately saw this child and was like, booyah, new slave. Took him and immediately threw him in a coliseum. It's like, kid battle royale, let's go. Hell yeah, great show tonight. And had him fight a bunch of other new slave contestants. He won because child Primarch. And from this victory, he would go on. He went on a winning streak. He got the title the Unbeatable. He was literally unstoppable, as he would be. He's a fucking Primarch. They're supercharged, really powerful, even at a young age. And so far, he would win a bunch of battles. He got close to some of the slaves. He even had a fun little father figure. It was so nice. He had like a dad being raised real well as best he could in the cages of this coliseum. Until one day, him and his pops were on a fun little coliseum bout. They were fighting some really roided out Ogrins. And once they beat the Ogrins, the announcer like spoke. Was like, all right, sick match, Unbeatable and co. Next part, kill each other. And Angron was obviously like, no, I'm not gonna fucking do that. So as punishment, they immediately yoinked him and installed a funny little augment known as the Butcher's Nails. The Butcher's Nails are a fucking horrific thing. Kind of what they sound like. They are literal, like, augment nails. They shove into your brain, like key parts of your brain, to supercharge rage, fury, and bloodlust, all of those anger emotions. Essentially just a lobotomy to make you angrier. And then Angron was literally unleashed in the Coliseum and he ripped his like adoptive dad apart. Something he would struggle with emotionally when he came to. With this mention of the Butcher's Nails, I need to mention a main thing with Primarchs. They have a Primarch power. Every Primarch's got their little ability. Like, Alfarius can blend into crowds real well, Corvus can go invisible, Conrad Curtis is insane, stuff like that. Angron had the power of hyper-empathy, where he would literally take your pain and negative emotions away from you and take it onto himself. Something he would use to, you know, help the kids in the slave pits. He would give them a night's sleep, like a proper night's sleep. Something that came rare on Nuceria. And I want you to picture that. That's the thing I want you to imagine. We have this big demon man and the brutal warrior from the Horus Heresy. And in this instance, we have a young man trying to do something good, trying to help people in this horrific situation. And now he has a bunch of brain spikes that took that away. And now he's a blood-fueled rage monster. A real fucking sad trip, I'll be honest. because that brief bit of Angron doing that is long gone. And rightly so, this would be the last straw. Angron led a bunch of the other slaves, they revolted and left. They fought their way out and made way to the mountains. A place they would be chased to. All of those tyrants led their armies to go recapture those slaves because it's pretty bad optics if you just let a bunch of your gladiators escape. You gotta make a message out of it. And it was on this battle they were preparing for on the mountains that who arrived? Who came out of nowhere? Good old Big E himself coming around saying, "Ah, what's up? Found my new kid. Hey, anyways, do you want to go fight with me? I'll make you a little stronger. I'll give you cool armor. I got a bunch of super soldiers with your names on it, literally in this case, and we can go wage war. Hell yeah, more of this." And Angron thought about it and was like, "Nah, I've kind of made up my mind. I'm gonna fight with my friends here. I'm gonna possibly die with them, but I'm going to stay my ground and not leave them in this moment." Emps was a bit sad, like, "Oh, shucks, makes me feel bad. It's a real shame. I found another kid. Dang. I hope I'm not so bummed out that I do something to irrevocably damage any hope of relationship with my child." Foreshadowing. And so the tyrant's armies charged. Angron would meet them, all doing this big old charge right before the attack swung. Poof. Angron was gone and on the Emperor's flagship. He teleported him onto there, and out the window, Angron could see his men dying. Something he was fucking pissed about. He would start swinging, he took down some custodians, he was pissed. And Big E did a whole "you'll understand when you're older, you're too young, you don't see the scope of this, blah, blah, blah." And now, before anything else is said, this is a product of writing in reverse. This is a problem that plagues Horus Heresy and some 40k stuff. You have characters at the end point of the 41st millennium, and then you write back 10,000 years. You have to retrofit these characters to appear later. It's a hard deal. It's writing-wise very difficult. Some are done really gracefully and really eloquently. Some not so much, and writing things again in 40k is really complicated because a bunch of nerds like me and a bunch of nerds like you will get on Games Workshop asses if they try to retcon anything. So it's a difficult deal. However, this is fucking stupid. This is the dumbest thing ever because, Emperor, for the love of God, you were going to conquer this planet anyways. What absolute dumb shit you could be pulling where you're like, "Yeah, I know we're gonna conquer these guys, but I'm not gonna help. I'm not gonna send down some custodians of myself, wage war, make an immediate pact with my son, and we can lead on this military crusade." No, you could immediately have a good relationship with your child if you went on the merry old pastime of murdering slavers. There's literally no downsides. They're barely people. They own slaves. Fuck them. So, I don't get it. Maybe he's trying to keep the planetary government intact. I don't know. Maybe there's a reason in his head. Either way, it's fucking stupid. Because right away, Angron was pissed. He was given his army, the Warhounds, like Space Marine Legion. He didn't want to fucking wage war with them. He would just go to his new flagship and sulk. Just sit around and do nothing. And honestly, I don't blame him. And during his big sulk, a lot of Warhound, Marines would actually come in and try to get the Primarch, "Hey man, let's go do something," and Angron would kill them. He also made, during this revelation, was like, "Damn, my new Legion are a bunch of pussies. They're nothing like my boys on Nuceria. They were so cool. These guys suck. They don't know how to wage war," until eventually, the best guy ever, a real swell guy, good old Karn, as in Karn the Betrayer, he would come in, and he'd be like, "Hey, Angron, get off your ass. We're gonna go wage war." And he started wailing on Karn, beating him up. Karn didn't move. He didn't lift a hand, he didn't defend himself, he just stood there. "No, I'm not fighting back. You're my Primarch, you're my general. I don't raise a hand towards you, but you need to wage war. You need to get off your ass and do something. You think we're a bunch of pussies? Then fix it. Do something to make us better." And Angron was like, "That's a good point. Damn." So he would listen, and Karn would become his right-hand man, waging war right alongside Angron, dealing with a lot of shit he didn't want to deal with, like diplomacy, or even inter-Primarch stuff, as a lot of times Karn would be there for Primarch-only meetings, because it's the only way they'll get things done is if Karn is standing there able to reel in Angron or be the guy who's actually able to like verbalize a point. But he would first change the name because the Warhound kind of implied he was subservient to the Emperor, and fuck him. No one likes the Emperor, he sucks. So that he changed the name to the World Eaters and also gave a fun new rule. You had 31 hours to conquer a planet, and if you didn't conquer it in that time frame, a day in Nucerian time, he would do a decimation. A good old Perturabo. He would kill 1 in 10, make the other 9 beat the other guy to death. I guess it worked. I haven't found a lot of direct references to decimations happening. I probably only happened a few times, but later on when the World Eaters show up, like before the actual heresy kicked off, they were fucking efficient. Reading their stories is, they're impressive, I'll be honest. Maybe Angron was cooking, let him cook. And then, you know, other stuff happened. The primary main thing was Angron joined the side of Horus when he would betray the Emperor. It wasn't a hard sell, because he already was super pissed. And Horus knew, like, yeah, if you just placate him, you give him people to go murder, Angron will listen to you. The only thing you have to deal with is Angron not listening to your orders and going to do something anyways. Something that happened on Istvan 3. Straight up did not want to wait out the bombardment and went to go kill the remaining loyalist World Eaters himself, much to Horus's issue. The job got done anyway, so whatever. And this would spell a reoccurring trend, as a lot of times in the Horus heresy, Angron's there, pissed that they have to strategize and plan things, and a lot of problems were led. But a lot of other fun things happened. One, Angron had a really dope duel with Guilliman on actually Nuceria. He went back to Nuceria and found out that those old tyrants were telling stories of, yeah, we beat Angron's ass and all his boys, we shot down this rebellion. He just ditched them at the final fight. What a loser. He was pissed, so him and Lorgar killed everybody on the planet. And then the Ultramarines came down and fought. And during this big old battle, Angron almost fucking killed Guilliman till he was like fully exfilled by a bunch of Ultramarines. And Lorgar used this moment of pure unbridled rage in Angron to literally do a direct ritual to Khorne himself centered on Angron, using him as the catalyst, immediately turning him into a demon Primarch and having him ascend to now being this literal hate incarnate being. The first order he gave was telling Karn to go kill a bunch of the actual slaves on the flagship, the Conqueror, like their ship, and make him a throne of skulls. Immediately going right for the aesthetic. I can respect it, I guess. And this would also lead to some more issues since Angron was Khorne's third pick, because the first pick was Sanguinius. The second pick definitely was Karn. Third, Angron. And this is something Angron knew. He was very understanding that he was not the first pick. In fact, he would voice this displeasure to Karn after some other shit went down. Mainly, this would go down in the lead up to the Siege of Terra, because Horus and Angron had some problems during this, as Angron immediately had a plan. He's like, all right, fuck all this planning stuff, launch me at the palace, and I'll kill them all. And Horus was like, there's a psychic barrier around this whole palace, dog. If you do that, you're gonna die. And Angron threw a little bit of a tantrum, he was a little upset. And then it got worse when he found out Mortarion and the Death Guard were gonna be the first ones to actually like fight in the siege. He was pissed. He went go sulk on the Conqueror. Karn would come over and be like, you fucking stop it. Please stop doing this. And here Angron would say, like, I know you're more favored by Khorne. He prefers you as his champion over me, a Primarch. They would fight. A fight that was very heavily in Angron's favor, because Primarch, fighting him is a literal death sentence. And Karn was playing this smart, and he would slap on a teleport, like Homer, right onto Angron, teleporting him into Perturabo's spooky maze. This maze he built that was like literally uncrackable, except Vulcan did it, but you know, he got out. He's Vulcan, he can do whatever he wants. Angron was now stuck in a maze, just kind of waiting, really fucking pissed, waiting for a moment. And they would. When the Siege of Terra actually broke, they got the shield down. I picture this like, if you ever played like Super Monkey Ball, where, like, you know, the map tilts with you? Because it was like in space or in the warp or something, and then they just tilted the maze really fast, flinging him into the planet. Because we get this art where he's flying into the palace like an angry dude missile, and he would wage war. Horus influencing him to like find Sanguinius and kill him, where they would fight. It was really fucking cool. Go watch my Sanguinius video if you want more details on this battle. Ending in a really dope move for the Angel, where he tanked a full body stab to rip out Angron's butcher's nails and banish him back to the warp. And that was where Angron would sit out the rest of the heresy. Obviously the siege didn't play out well, Horus died, and yada yada yada. So what is Angron doing now? Well, he's appearing, murdering, dying, and then respawning later. Warp entities can't really die, so they just will always come back. And other than that, Angron is like barely aware. He is a pure rage just being. So he's not really cognizant of anything happening. That's kind of a repeat thing. He'll appear, fight, whatever. Until now, with the appearance of the Great Rift, he now has like a new caveat to his respawn, as he will always come back 8 weeks, 8 days, and 8 hours later. Like the number 8, because that's Khorne's number. Like, get it? He'll like have a bunch of signs around, like when he's coming back, like blood rain and shit like that, and then poof, there's Angron, he's waging war again. And that would just be a thing he keeps doing. Until recently, we got something fucking dope when he fought the Lion. The newly awakened Lion would duel Angron after fucking a lot of characters held their ground against the man. They did their damnedest, but they can't fight Angron. A 1v1 is death. You cannot do it. Even the Lion, wielding his cool ass sword and literally the shield of the Emperor, the thing he notes is like, this is the thing that kept him alive during this fight. He would do his damnedest to fight. And he did it really clever, because you can't out brute force Angron. That's stupid. So he played smart, and he would guide Angron to a proper location. The whole time, fighting in such a way to piss off Angron more, get him more and more and more angry till he starts doing some really dumb moves. And now, this fight fucking rules. Go read it. This isn't like a situation where, Primarchs are crippled to make the fight more interesting or to keep it going on. This is no Gilman versus Mortarion situation. It's actually dope. It's proper characters fighting as the character should. I meant to like skim this for this video, and instead I read the whole thing. I was transfixed. It's fucking awesome. I'm not doing it justice. It's on the excerpt's on Reddit. Just go read it. But mainly, Angron would finally, once the Lion had proper position, would do a giant like overhead slash, like a double thing. And the Lion perfectly just understepped it and let Angron impale himself in the neck with the sword. Just let him go through it. And then once he was on the ground, he decapitated him with the shield, and Angron poofed back into the warp. A sick fight. Properly showing the Lion is a badass and Angron is really powerful, but he can be outsmarted. And other than that, that's literally it. Like, he just appears, he fights, bleh, whatever. Like, it's kind of the World Eater MO. They don't really have a lot of characters that are trying to do complex shit. Even Karn. Karn's just out there murdering still. He's just having a great time. Being Khorne's favorite bro with his largest pile of skulls in Khorne's realm. Like, happy for him. But yeah. That's the story of Angron. Really depressing. Really depressing. Really cool character. I genuinely like this guy. He's a delight to read in the actual Horus Heresy series, so go read some of the stuff. If you like Angron, read the Heresy. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up. If you like this, like, comment, subscribe, do that stuff. Join my membership, and see ya.